Too many instances, black folks don't show up for the jury pool. Now that's one of the problems. That's real. That's how you begin to change things. But let me just tell you this: once we get blacks on the jury, we've seen some cases where those blacks have gone into those jury rooms and they're from the ice is colder, medicine is better, sugar is sweeter mentality.
Well, see, I'm not.
And they go, and I'm telling you, and they go with the other folk. I sat through a court hearing, some of the hearings, and I saw a jury that had 5 blacks and 7 whites on it, I believe. And the jury came out with a unanimous verdict in a case where black folks should have known better. Just based on simple truth.
Sometimes we're our worst enemy, but no lawyer worth his salt should accept an all-white jury. And I'm not talking about just having blacks on it. I'm talking about supposed to have all kind of people on it.
That's true. It's
not supposed to be two-sided, because we're not a two-sided nation. We got about 5 or 6 different nationalities right now.
And that's what's got all the angst. That's why Donald Trump was elected. You just pointed out why there is a high level of discomfort, specifically among white males, and we're talking about the browning and the coloring of America. Therein lies the problem, and that is what has delivered a Donald Trump term. Listen, Ellen, I love you. Thank you for calling. Okay, bye-bye. We're going to go to Grand Rapids and check in with Clee Jackson, and I don't want anybody online to hang up. Steve and Paul, please stand by. Clee Jackson is president of the Greater Grand Rapids branch of the NAACP. And 2 years ago, that NAACP entity co-authored a 12-point plan in order to plan to improve community and police relationships. Don't know what happened to that plan. How are you, Mr. Jackson?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me this morning.
Well, people around here are hopping mad about what happened to those 5 black boys.
I hear that, and I understand I not only understand the frustration directly, being a black man living in America and have been bullied and harassed throughout my 49 years, so I fully understand. And also the community I've been here in West Michigan and Grand Rapids are. We're hot. This is it's a travesty. It's horrific. Those young men, boys, I'll say, because we need to be very careful with respect to the terms and the language that we use, because they are boys, ranging from the ages of 12 to 14. And so there has been national outrage with respect to this issue. And we have been on top of it since the incident happened. We have had a number of what we call direct action campaigns. We took over 300 folks to the city commission on April the 11th to express that frustration. And also demand something that's really simple, and we have to be mindful and respectful of what the parents are asking and what these young boys are asking. And they ask for 2 simple things. They ask for a direct apology from the officer involved. So that was one. And to date, that demand has been refused. And secondly, they have requested, along with our organization and a couple of other organizations in the community overall, a full and thorough review of the 12-point plan that you just mentioned. And so we just received, we did a FOIA, a Freedom of Information request. So we have the videos, we have the police reports, and there's definitely concerns, some major concerns from a legal perspective, especially. So our legal redress team is looking at that information, the video, the documentation, and seeing what recourse is appropriate from a legal perspective moving forward. And so that's where we are.
Paul, you're on the Mildred Gaddis Show with Mr. Clee Jackson.
Yes. Hi. I'm here in Detroit. Can you hear me?
Yes, he can. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I was born in Flint, Michigan. I'm a Vietnam vet. I was a draftee, and I'm just going to put the young lady, the lady that called you previously, and when we're going to shoot back, it needs to happen, and it has happened. And the United States will never win another ground war ever again. And also, it is called guerrilla warfare. It doesn't matter how many guns you got, Ms. Gaddis. The fact of it is how you use your neighborhood and your fight. And the guerrilla warfare in the United States will never win again. That's all what we need. That's how you get beat everywhere across the world right now. And also, the police used to be, and I don't know if you remember this, or I know it from being born and raised in Flint, is that they used to cover up their badge numbers in order to do all the stuff that they're still doing. So you wouldn't be able to track them back and seeing their badge numbers of their faces. So this hasn't just started. This has been going on, and like I said, I was born and raised in Flint. I'm a 60s kid. I am the riot kid. My parents moved in an all-white neighborhood in Flint in 1960. We were the first black family across Detroit Street.
All right. I want to thank you. And I respect and I love Ellen, and I know where she's coming from. I feel her frustration. But we're not gonna encourage people to start shooting back. We're not gonna do that. Steve, you're on the Mildred Gaddis Show with Mr. Clee Jackson, who is president of the Grand Rapids Metro Area NAACP.
Mildred Gaddis, Mr. Jackson. I love the memory and techniques of Richard F. Williams. I'll say that. And Mildred Gaddis, you want to hear what's going on in Grand Rapids? The same thing is going over in all urban cities across the country. Gentrification. The police feel empowered to clear us out. I have relatives that live on 28th Street in Grand Rapids. They've lived in an apartment for over 10 years, and now the rent has doubled, and now they have to move. And by the grace of God, and you're on to something, Mildred Gaddis, by reflecting Grand Rapids, State of Opportunity Michigan Radio just released a documentary called Pushed Out, a documentary on Grand Rapids housing. If you play that or you listen to that, that'll show you exactly why the police felt empowered to do that to little boys. And exactly what's going on in Grand Rapids is going to happen in Detroit. Do you think we won't have another Dr. Ozzie and Sweet event here in Detroit if we keep gentrifying? Look at Oakland, California. The blacks have been pushed out. The blacks was living in naval barracks, and the people came and took over the naval barracks. Black folks are living almost 40 minutes to an hour and a half away from their jobs. We are in trouble, and if you please go and look at that documentary, it's called Pushed Out. It's a review on Grand Rapids housing, and I can tell you right now, I have relatives that are facing gentrification in Grand Rapids. Out of all places, who would have thought gentrification would come to Grand Rapids, but it is, and they're forcing the people out, especially blacks, and that's why the police felt so empowered, and that's why the spirit of Richard F. Williams came to you today. Because it comes a point in time when we get tired of being pushed and pushed and pushed. Do you know the cost of living in Detroit is very high? But yet you have poor people here. We're one of the poorest cities here that have not suffered a natural disaster. We suffer from man-made disasters. And i.e., we've got the land bank taking our property. We got seniors who are living in their house, Mildred, for 60 years, 70 years, losing it to taxes. How is that? Losing it to water bills. You got Miss Jenkins on Puritan and Hubble has a $150 back water bill, loses her home, but yet Joe Lucerina owes tens of thousands of dollars in back water bill. Water never was turned on. It's gentrification.
We're going to get a response from Mr. Jackson. Thank you so much, Steve. Oh, as always. Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, thank you for the comment, sir. He's exactly right. That's exactly what's happening.